Hello, my name is Michael Utter, and this video is my presentation for the chapter overview for Ed 546 Master's Course at SUNY Oneonta. I'll be going over Source Book Chapter 4 From Pencils to Pixels by Dennis Barron. What this chapter looks to go over is explain how technology and literacy have helped each other to grow and change over the years. Technology, with its various improvements in communication, has helped literacy to redefine itself and expand to multiple regions. To begin, Dennis Barron writes, "The computer is also touted as a gateway to literacy. The Speaker of the House of Representatives suggested that inner-city school children should try laptops to improve their performance. Hooking up every school classroom to the web will eliminate illiteracy. Computers will replace books." What is meant by this is he feels that with the various improvements of technology with computers, and of course the access that can be granted through web, the students will be able to view various forms of literacy, images and videos, and become less illiterate and more exposed to the various technologies of literacy. How we came to this point was what Dennis calls the stages of literacy. Through these stages, we see technology affecting communication and in turn affecting literacy. The several technologies that are produced and shown in the paper and what I'll be showing here goes through pencil, telephone, and computer. The pencil, in its original design, was meant to only record the measurements of manufacturers and carpenters. As with much of our own technology, things change over time. In time, though, when the pencil did change to ability of writing, you saw it becoming the first piece of writing technology and literacy technology. As such, the pencil was very authentic, but a slow way to communicate. You saw people writing on a piece of paper on one day, ship it out, send it, and it won't be received until 3 or 4 days later. Of course, with writing, you saw it to be very authentic, meaning that it was hard to copy another person's writing. And the technology of writing also brought in the other issue of, did others know what you meant by certain words? Were they able to read? As seen in the past, when writing was done on chisel and stone, very few people could understand the writing or understand the meaning of the words. Eventually, as people became used to new words and definitions, you saw the pencil becoming obsolete and technology growing into a new form. The telephone was at first impractical. Nobody thought you would need this because then you couldn't understand or reread what was said during the conversation. Now, in modern times, it is almost a needed item for many. In terms of literacy, you saw the first signs of fraud. Yes, you could communicate what was written in one location, such as the other end of the country, to your location. But you could turn around and use that and say that it was your own information, and how would anybody say otherwise? It was also because of this idea and the idea of fraud that you saw a threat to the schools. One big theory that was being proposed by futologists, people who study the future, was that they felt the telephone would lead to the death of the school and the library. They felt that because you can send information faster and quicker through the telephone, you would no longer need to go to school to be taught by your teacher, or go to a library to read a book if it could be simply read over. What you also saw in another myth of the telephone was that they thought the telephone would be used to punish and to help. Help by being able to convict felons and criminals alike, and also punish by sending a shock through the telephone. Both of these, of course, are untrue, but they do have some truth in them. As we see today with telecommunications, where we send a lot of information over telephone lines. But this comes back to computer usage. As said before, with telephones you saw the first instances of fraud, and as such you saw a severe case of privacy issues. As shown by the cartoon below, where you have a school surveillance department viewing multiple images of all the school's departments, you saw the same issue being shown with lawmakers asking for the telephone records once they began to be written down. Many felt this was a major invasion of privacy and that their conversations should be kept to themselves. This eventually would be changed with certain policies being put into effect that made it very difficult to require and acquire the various forms of writing of transcripts. The telephone eventually led into the creation of the computer. The computer was originally designed to only help with math and had no word processor such as Microsoft Word on it to help create documents. It took several years after the creation of the first computer to eventually start creating writing software programs. It was after this that you saw a continued progression to the point where we are now, where you can create multiple forms of documents and have also multiple forms of literacy. What you also saw was the access to the web becoming a huge resource for many students. No longer were they just able to access information from a book, now they could go online and find information from a whole nother country if they chose to. Digital text and world literacy has helped students to become more connected to the world as well as people in general to the world on a global scale. With the help of computers and the internet, the world has become connected such to the point that even trade and economies are connected. Information that is created and seen in effect in one country can be sent to another country. In terms of literacy, documents created, say in China, can be found and located on the web by a student here in the United States to be used for their own report and research. Of course, with this, you have once again the issue of fraud. Conclusions. As seen through this article, we have seen that there is multiple stages to technology, as well as how literacy has evolved with this technology. We're able to send and receive information faster from anywhere. The connection of the internet has literally allowed students to find any information they can just by typing in such things like Google. We also see that newer technologies are always on the rise and create new ways to show literacy. Literacy once just went to the written document. Now you have such things as PowerPoint, or what I'm using now, a Prezi. You also see new ideas being presented and shown all around the world, such as environmental issues. In Dubai, you have the construction of the World Tower, where it is used to show how there is green energy possibilities. Of course, with all of this literacy that is around the world, you have the institution of fraud. If there was one point that could be the biggest main cause for cons to be seen from technology mixed with literacy, it would be the fact of fraud. There have been many cases, and we see it in schools today, of plagiarism, where someone will take information, claim it as their own, and reprint it. There are ways to stop this, of course, but for those who do not understand these ways or know of these ways, it is very difficult to complete. In conclusion, literacy and technology will continue to grow together. There won't be any real way to stop it, and it's no real ideas on how literacy and technology will be in the future. What we can determine as of right now is that computers are not going anywhere. They are, in some cases, replacing a school, as with distance learning, and books, such as technologies as the EDUC. But in the end, literacy still has its main characteristic of being able to help people understand and know the meaning of the written word, of images, and of the various videos that they're able to find on the internet. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope it was very educational for you. Have a good day.